Did you know Michael Bay made a 2.5-hour Army recruitment video smuggled inside of Transformers 3? It's day 123 of 365. Today's movie, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. You don't have to uncover any government conspiracies to find the Ticket Stub Movie Club. We have daily movie suggestions as well as monthly deep dives and more over at patreon.com/ticketstubmovieclub. Directed by Michael Bay and starring Shia LaBeouf, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, and Josh Duhamel, we're finally done talking about the Transformers movies with this one. I didn't go see any of the others in theaters. I was tapped out at the end of this trilogy, and I think you're going to understand why by the end of this video. I was kind of let down that I was going to see a giant third Hasbro toy commercial that even a stacked out cast couldn't really save. Ken Jeong is here. John Malkovich is here for like the third movie in a row that we've talked about lately. God damn it, even Frances McDormand is here, and she's not elevating this material. I was impressed by the set pieces, and there's a million fucking set pieces, so there's a lot to be impressed by, but overall these movies just aren't having a return on investment for like investing in the story of them, which is crazy because I know the Transformers are like beloved storytelling mediums outside of these movies. So in 2025, revisiting this, not in a theater getting my ears blasted out, I arguably had a little bit of a better time. Like, watching it on a laptop with subtitles so I could understand what was going on, I got more out of the movie this time than I did watching it in theaters originally. If it feels like I'm spinning my tires, I actually do kind of want to rush into the other segments just to be done talking about these movies. I feel like I just keep saying the same things over and over. So let's talk about 3 things that I noticed about Transformers that I kind of liked, I guess. The first thing that I really like about this movie is this might be the best performance out of Shia LaBeouf yet. Now, I know I have already used this as one of the things I liked from the last movie, but I think it's worth mentioning that Shia LaBeouf is going to be tapped out by the end of this movie. He's done a trilogy, and not only has he done that, but he's stuck it out in this blockbuster series that doesn't have a lot for him to do. That even becomes one of the main plot points for him is unemployment. Like, he knows he's going to lose his job after this movie, and so they made it like metatextually part of the film, as well as talking about the financial crisis that had just happened during the filming of these movies. This one's edging its way into being almost political for this reason, and I kind of dig that, and putting him at the heart of it, making him go on a job hunt to stay relevant among the Transformers is a nice idea. Like, he wants to feel important and eventually does become important, but only because he's willing to like stick up for what he believes in and not cave in and take a job from someone that he knows is like morally bankrupt. That's a lot to pull out of a Transformers movie, I feel like. That's a kind of deeper line overall. And it feels like maybe Michael Bay was getting so bored with these that he actually wanted to say something for once. Like, there's a point in the movie where they bring up an office is basically run by Republicans, and our protagonist says, okay, well, I'm not going to work here then. That's funny. Like, that works for me in what is otherwise like a politically ambiguous kind of series. They decide to like take a stand and be like, no, actually, this is about immigrants and immigration. That is the point here. We're going to say that expressly, and so we're going to make the politics of the characters more available. Shia LaBeouf then gets to play that up by being the frustrated liberal, right? Like, his frustration with the military is on full display when he goes to finally visit Bumblebee and is unable to, and we get his gut-wrenching frustration scream. One of the best clips of the entire franchise is him freaking out and that little Studebaker where he just cannot take it anymore. He is so frustrated with how things are going in his relationship, with his parents, with his job hunt, with his lack of involvement with his best friend, which is a robot from another place. Like, he's just so done, and he's so good at showing that. Honestly, his performance peaks in the middle of the movie because by the end of it, he's just kind of, again, a passenger along for the ride. It's Optimus Prime that's going to figure all this out, but we'll talk about that later. The second thing that I kind of like about this movie is the switch up in tone. The first movie was funny, and honestly, that's what's the best part about Bumblebee as well. The best 2 movies in the live-action Transformers run are the funny ones. This one is attempting to be funny. The second one was too self-serious, so by the time we get to this third movie, I'm happy that I'm at least chuckling along the way. There are some good laughs and good gaffes and bits throughout this movie. John Malkovich freaking out about meeting Bumblebee and then falling down when he gets scared by him and getting tickled, like that kind of stuff as someone who has worked with actors, is just so fun to watch. I know they had a great time filming a lot of the scenes in this, especially those kinds of things, so at least this movie's funny. The next one is going to be just kind of weird, if you know what I mean, in the topic matter it decides to dive into. So at least in this one, we can have some fun. Even as we get into like the serious action beats, there are fun moments within them. I think about the scene in the skyscraper where they're breaking out the rocket launcher, and the guy with the rocket launcher is just having a breakdown. And it works so well. It plays for comedy in that kind of Steven Spielberg Saving Private Ryan way, where it's like, the humor is also part of the like anxiety of the scene. They can play off of each other well. I had forgotten that this tone was even part of the movie just because of how much I despise the series overall. But I will at least say that, hey, I was impressed. I laughed a few times watching this one. The third and final thing that I ever have to list as reasons for liking a Transformers movie, I'm so glad we got here. I will admit, as joking as I was at the top of this video, the wingsuit sequence in this movie is fucking phenomenal. Now, I understand that it is essentially a glorified army recruitment video shot by Michael Bay, but that makes sense. The man used to make commercials before he got into feature filmmaking, and that's where he cut his teeth. That's where he learned his visual language of making everything as beautiful as possible. Across this movie, there's gorgeous lighting, gorgeous sets. The apartment that they start out in is legitimately beautiful to behold. And so ending up with this wingsuit sequence where they're flying, knitting their way through Chicago, they're topping Batman. And I love that. Like, Batman was the thing to top at the time. No one had done better than The Dark Knight, which has its own wingsuit sequence, which is unfortunately small. It's one guy going from one building to another. Michael Bay said, hold my beer, let me fucking top that because I know I can. It's a sad sequence. Like, we lose 90% of the guys that volunteer for this mission just in that sequence alone. When we lose the helicarriers and then a bunch of the guys on their entry, they end up with way less people than anticipated getting into the city. And so that sets up the stakes for this finale to be kind of scary. Like, there's more happening here than just an army recruitment video is what I'm getting at. And so I understand if you want to run with that complaint along with me and be like, well, I don't want to watch it for that reason. I do get it. But that sequence on its own is just so amazing. Just the amount of practical photography that goes into making something like that is so impossible. This probably took weeks to shoot and then weeks more to animate all the stuff going on in the background. Because remember, there's Transformers flying around in their own fighter jets, taking care of business. This whole thing is just this glorious cacophony. And if that's how you're going to end your trilogy, honestly, if this is where the series would have ended totally, I would have had much more praise to sing about the Transformers in general. But they decided to crank out a bunch more movies after this, and all of them kind of suck except Bumblebee. But what do you think? How do you feel about Transformers Dark of the Moon? Was it better than its previous? Do you like any of the ones subsequent after this one more? I'm curious about your thoughts. We're gonna go from one long-running series into another. We're leaving Transformers behind to pick up at the very end of Harry Potter. We're talking about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 next time, and I'll see you tomorrow.